Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It is New Comic Book Day for the week of July 3rd. Happy birthday, America. And happy birthday to us, technically. This is the beginning of year 4. I shaved for this occasion, partially because somebody said I was cute. Hey, Australia. We're going to get started right now. This episode brought to you by us. It's Team Ashen. It's New Comic Book Days. Shirts, all that kind of fun stuff. Watch to the very end of the video to find out who won our awesome giveaway. Thank you guys for everybody that participated. You made us feel loved for 3 years, and we're looking forward to a 4th year.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Capes and Scowls and Team Ashen and I don't know, probably 12 other places. I get around. Here's the hop, Donald. Donald loves the hop. He's all hopped up on the hop. That was for you, Donald. So, let's talk about some trades. I've got Conan, the Jewels of Gwar, and other stories. I don't know how to pronounce that word. You crazy? This is a bunch of older Conan stuff combined into one story. It's a mix of people, so check it out. And then I've got Conan the Barbarian. This is the new run. This is issues 1 through 6. Jason Aaron, Muhammad Assar. This is really good. We've talked about that. Red Hood Outlaw, Requiem for an Archer. This is one big Red Hood volume. Contains Red Hood and the Outlaws 26, annual number 2, and then Red Hood Outlaw number 27 to 31. Just so you know, because I know that series got a little weird to follow. We've got the Joker. This is that big hardcover that came out years ago by Brian Azzarello, I blanked, and Lee Bermejo. This book is fantastic. I've read it multiple times. I really do love it. And then finally, this is Big Al's Pick of the Week. We've got the massive Omnibus Edition. There's probably going to be 2 of these or 3 of these to contain the entire series. It's Brian Wood. Brian Wood, really good guy. All right, next up, or first up, we've got Lois Lane, number 1.
This is know that like 4 years in, we still screw up so often.
Yeah, don't edit any of this either.
I'm
owning it. I don't care. Look, I'm tired. My eyes are bugging me. Just leave me alone.
Eyes are bugging you all of a sudden.
I don't know. My eyes are bothering me. But hey, Johnny Quest is available on Blu-ray, like the whole series. I want to watch it so bad. It's probably, I'm getting a little sidetracked. It's probably not that good. I know all the fighting is just karate chops to the neck. I'm down with that. When's the last time you karate chopped somebody in the neck?
I don't. I try not to.
Well, you should.
Johnny said it was dangerous, so I try not to.
But it's Haji approved.
I know.
Haji loved it. He was just like, oh, I wish I could. He never really cares about this. He never really. Talk Johnny Quest for a second. Haji never really chopped anybody. He was just running with Bandit all the time.
Well, it's because it was his religion. He's a pacifist.
Was he a
Which
pacifist?
is kind of weird that he like ran around with a spy group that was just like karate chopping people.
Well, it is.
Time, like,
it was pretty wicked awesome, right?
He was. Yeah. It was pretty good.
He knew where the coolness was. He knew.
That's such a weird tangent.
All right, I guess I should talk about this book. It was good.
Oh, thank God. I was hoping that like we didn't go off this tangent because you hated it. Okay.
No, we didn't. Real review for this book. Not talking about. I'm just looking at it like, yeah, Johnny Quest. DC doesn't care. They own Hanna-Barbera. So this is Greg Rucka. It is a very cool kind of story with Lois Lane trying to get to the bottom of what's going on in the world around us. She's taking on senators and people of that ilk up in the White House, and she is making tons of enemies. Also in her personal life, everybody thinks she is a whore because a photo or video was taken showing her kissing Superman, which of course there's nothing actually wrong with that, but nobody knows that. So everybody's kind of treating her like complete scum. And Clark doesn't like it. There's a lot of different things going on in this story. It's a very good setup. I'd like to see where it goes. There's one of my favorite characters shows up in this book. I won't spoil it, so you can go, oh, that's one of his favorite characters. That's right, it is. But I enjoyed the book. Check it out.
First up, we have DCeased, issue number 3. I love this series so much. I've always been a DC Elseworld kind of person because you get more creativity, you get more freedom when you have a series that can't possibly be part of actual continuity. And this just continues. This just continues the complete decimation of everybody that you have ever loved in the DC universe. The art is fantastic, and the writing is good, although this is a very quick read for you, because they just want you to soak in all the horror and all the terrible things that are happening in the DC universe. But this is definitely one to pick up. You should be reading this series. It is going to be a fun 6-issue read. Also note, this is not the actual cover. This is a variant. We ran out of regular covers. Read your previews guides.
All right, next up we have The Walking Dead, number 193. If you have not heard, this is, wait for it, the final issue of The Walking Dead. Kirkman said, let's just surprise everybody and end it. So that's what he did. He even went so far as, after you read the story in the back, there are unpublished covers from issues 194, 95, and 96, which show the story progressing, and they're fake covers. He did it just to, and he solicited them and everything. They were never going to get published. I read a little bit. He has this long-winded note at the end of the book saying, it's over, it's done. Some of you might be angry, some of you might not. Yada, yada, yada. It's a good read. I'll read more of it later. I was trying to get this done, people, in a timely fashion. The book's fine. It's not amazing, to be honest with you. It wraps everything up. It does do a bit of a time skip, and that's about all I really want to say about it. I don't want to spoil it for people, because I feel like a lot of big things have recently happened in Walking Dead. I feel like it got spoiled for a lot of people. And if not, I feel like people want to read it and catch up and enjoy it. I feel like this is a book that has a lot of followers outside of issues that are going to read it in trade. But yeah, it's a surprise end to the series, and I think it was fine. But it wasn't my pick of the week.
Next up, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, issue number 6. Like I said, I wasn't too thrilled with the last issue. The art is just such a different departure from what I was loving about the first thing. However, I will say that the writing is spectacular in this series. It does, even though the characters don't resemble the people that you loved in this series, the writing still does. The writing is fantastic in this, and Buffy and Willow are trying to track down a soul tie so that way they can fix what happened in the last issue. I'm not really going to tell you what happened in the last issue, but somebody got hurt, and they're trying to fix that. There's a lot of really good character building in here. It's definitely a fun series, and if you're a fan of Buffy, you should be reading this.
All right, people. It's not time for my pick of the week. I read 4 books this week. So this book's very good, but it's not my pick of the week. You ready for it? It is Space Bandits. Space Bandits. This is a new Millar book. Mark Millar, along with Matteo Scalera, who is like one of my favorite artists. He's the one who did Black Science with Remender. To go from Remender to Millar, what a great career this guy's having, huh? The art is so beautiful. Scalero is so good. The story, I love. There's one little quirk of the story they established right off the bat that I love, is the 80s takes a long time to get out into space, to reach people out in space. So even though it's all futuristic and everything, they're just now kind of getting the 80s. So they're on a ship called the Lionel Richie, which is fantastic. There is a Molly Ringwald district, things like that. I absolutely loved it. It's silly and dumb, but like for comic relief, because this is a fairly serious book. It involves a couple different characters that are going to cross paths in the future. 2 women. Both are, one is a robber, and the other one is just a super violent, crazy psychopath. And they're both scamming people and getting money, and it's just a good... It's very violent, very space-oriented. Scalero and his designs are so good. So incredibly good. I love the way he draws spacesuits and aliens and everything. Good story. You never know with Millar. Millar's all over the place. Like, he can write any kind of story. So I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew I was going to get sci-fi, but from there, what kind of oddball story was I going to get? And I thought it was fine. I'm curious to see where it goes. I say it's worth reading in issue 1.
Next up, we have Sea of Stars, issue number 1. This was almost my pick of the week. It is Jason Aaron, Dennis Hallam. Let me see who your artist is real quick so that we can give you credit for it. Stephen Green and Rico Renzi, you guys did a fantastic job. This is beautiful. This follows, obviously, it's a sci-fi adventure into the future where a father and his bored son are doing the mundane, driving through space when something cataclysmic happens and they are separated. You start to follow what's happened with the son, and there's a lot of spoilers in here that I could talk about, but this is a very interesting read. One thing that I tend to have issues with Image titles, at least on the front end, is their first issues tend to not set up enough of the story to keep me interested. Looking at you, Horizon. But this one did. This one hooked me the entire way through, and I'm interested to see where this one goes. Pick it up.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week, and you know it's a good book because I picked it. That's how that works, right, Paul?
That's the thing.
I picked Dark Horse's No One Left to Fight by Aubrey Sitterson and Fico Ozio. How would you pronounce that? I'm bad with names.
I would say Fico.
Fico's awesome. He's from Argentina.
Yeah, and we're going Spanish. It's Fico.
Fico?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm bad with names, but your name rules, and your art is even better. My God, the art is so beautiful in this. He also did the colors. It is gorgeous, but let me tell you what it's about. It's Dragon Ball Z. It is essentially Dragon Ball Z, and it is kind of like, you know who is supposed to be your Goku, who's your Vegeta, who's your Piccolo. It is essentially a story of, well, what happens after you defeat the largest, most violent creatures in the universe, and it's just, everything's okay. Your Goku character eats a lot. He's very beloved, but at the same time, he's having flashbacks. It's almost like a PTSD kind of scenario where he keeps imagining that big bad that he defeated coming back and slaying everyone. Your Vegeta character is really great because he's always challenging him. It just feels like an episode of Dragon Ball Z. And that's what they're going for. They want you to be thinking about Dragon Ball Z. They even build it as the comic you always wanted. It's a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed it. I was surprised by the flow of it. It just was really well done, and I'm very excited to see the rest. I added it to my bin, and you should do the same. This art is crazy. I'm very proud of you guys. You did a good job. And Taylor Esposito on the letters, you did a good job too. But I'm just going to drool over this art for a while, so drool.
And my pick of the week is Aero issue number 1, and if you look at the art, it is breathtaking. Oh, the anime nerd inside me just geeked out so hard for this book because you get 2 stories of Aero, and if you, from what I'm reading, she was introduced in the Agents of Atlas series, which is an all-Asian team. And these are going to be the further adventures of Aero. Hopefully, we get art like this throughout the entire way, because this is just a beautiful, beautiful thing to read. And if you are a fan of any anime style, look at it. It reads like a manga. It's basically somewhat of an origin story of that. There are actually 2 stories in here. Greg Pak and Pop Man, I'm probably ruining that, did an adequate job on the second story. Had that been the art the entire way through, it would have been great. But when you have this kind of art on the front, anything is going to feel kind of like a downgrade. Nothing against Pop Man. You did a fantastic job. I just truly liked the art in the first issue. This is from Zhao Li Fen and Kang, with the adaptation, I'm assuming, the translation from Greg Pak. This is beautiful. This was a flyer I was not expecting to read at all, and I'm really glad I did. The art is fantastic. The story writing is really done well. You really instantly get a feel for this character, what her motivations are, and I want to read more. So pick this one up. All right, and the winner. Dun, 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 dun. Do we get a drum roll? No. Kind of. I mean, I put him on the spot. He wasn't expecting that.
I didn't have a clear area to drum roll.
Yeah.
This is all you're gonna get.
It was close enough. But B Gats is the winner of this beautiful issue of Teen Titans Raven. Make sure you shoot us a message with your information, or unless you happen to be someone who comes to the comic book store, let us know what your bin number is, and we'll put it in. But thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Well, that's Tim's thing. Tim's still going to talk and end this video, but like, yeah. Thanks.
All right, that's the end of the video. I hope whoever you are who won that thing did a good job, and I hope you enjoy it. What was it, the Teen Titans something or other?
Teen Titans Raven.
Teen Titans Raven. I hear that's the greatest book ever. Congratulations.
Captain RC did a great job. Check the review.
Check that review. It's on the channel somewhere. Buried deep on the channel. It's towards the top. So that's it. That's it. Paul, anything you want to plug?
Thank you for 3 years.
Thank you for 3 years, says Paul. I guess I'll thank you. It's a labor of love? Question mark. Or is it just
labor of coffee? You're just like, I get coffee every week.
I do get paid in coffee, and that's really all I ever wanted. That's not true. One day I'd like to be a goon. That would be really fun. Just somebody's goon sitting there with a slapjack and a full suit looking menacing behind people. That's what I've always wanted. So if anybody out there who's like super loaded and can afford to hire me, I'm not that expensive. I hit somebody with a slapjack for you. It'd be great. But, where am I? What was I talking about? Who cares? Good night.
Books.
Shut up. Good night.